Yes, good morning everyone. Yes, hi Malu. Hi Milan Thomas. Yes, good morning everyone. Yes, hi. Yes, we'll wait for some more people. They're joining. Then we can start with our session. Yes, hi Leela Allen. Yes, hi. Hello Milu. Yes, hi Smriti Robin. Yes, hi Anjana. So there are some more students who are joining. We'll just wait for everyone to join and then we can start with our session. Yes, hi Buali. Siva, hi. Yes, a lot of people are joining. Vimala, hi Vimala. Hi Jitu. Hi Dr. Arjun. Hi Soji. Hi Vishu. Vaishu. Yes, hi Sagar. Hi Benifa. Hi Anu. Pratiksha, hi. Abraham, hi. Welcome to the session. So I think we can start with the session. So C part, that is, let us try to discuss some tips where we can easily crack our C part. So part C is basically one of the most difficult aspect of a reading session. I think everybody who is currently doing an OET, they know that reading is always tough, and the most toughest part of your reading will always be your part C, right? Yes, hi Jomol, hi Jyoti. Yes, hi Hameen. Welcome to the session. We just started now. So why is C part very tough? It is basically because this is a type of academic type of a text. It is a long healthcare workplace type of a text. We have two sections, C1 and C2. There's around 800 words you have to be able to read and figure out your answer. Yes, we have some more students who are joining. Yes, hi Jyoti, hi Sebastian, hi Maya, hi Anaka. Yes. So why is our C part very tough? Because it is an academic type of a text, and we have a lot of words, 800 words, around 8 paragraphs. Usually the paragraph numbering is between 6 to 8. And what is your time? You have a 45-minute session for B and C. That is what is going to be given for your exam. But you only have to take 15 minutes for your C1 and 15 minutes for your C2. So you cannot take a lot of time. You have 8 questions, 8 multiple choice questions. So why these sessions or why these questions are very tough is because it is opinion based. It is usually you have to think in terms of what is the meaning of the text, what is the author's opinion, is the author agreeing with this, or is the author not agreeing with what is being told by the other researchers. Yes, hi Melvin, hi Subin, hi Nivya Santosh, yes, hi Abel, and hi Ashifa. So welcome to the session. We were just starting with what is C part and why is it tough for our OET students. So when we come to part C strategies. So when we are coming to strategies, what we mean is how to think in terms of you have to tune yourself. You have to make yourself think in terms how to solve this question. You cannot use the same thinking you applied for A part and B part. You cannot use the same thing for your C. So you have to do a different type of thinking. So what are you going to do here? You're going to apply critical thinking. That is, you're going to think in terms of logical reasoning. You have to read the sentence, read the text, think in terms of logic. What is it trying to convey? You have to analyze the text. you have to try to figure out what is the main point being told in this text. And also you should think in terms of what is the question. The questions are always going to be a bit tricky, the options are more trickier. So you have to think in terms of what is the right answer in relation to the question given. So that is what is the most important key point in successful point in clearing your C part. Yes, we have some more. Hi Chinchu, hi Sagar. So welcome to the session. So let us actually just attempt. Once you keep doing with us and once you attempt the sessions, you will be able to get the answer. Let us see how it is. Okay. So let's go to the first question. So this is how a C part is. We're going to start with the C section. I'm going to give you all 2 minutes. So when this 2 minutes is up, I'll tell you time's up and we can discuss what is the answer. So how are you going to attempt? Remember, you cannot immediately go and read the options. Please remember, first you're going to read the question, that is, it said in the first paragraph. So when they said it in the first paragraph, you don't have to read any other paragraphs, you just have to read the first paragraph. So you're going to read the question, that is, in the first paragraph the writer says the conventional management of phobias can be problematic because of. So why is conventional management? Conventional management, I will explain, that basically means the traditional way of solving or the traditional way of overcoming this phobia. Why is it problematic? Why is it not correct, or why is it a bit tough? That is the question. Don't read the options, you're going to get confused. I'll give you 2 minutes. Read the passage, read the first paragraph, and after you understand that, we read the options and then we can discuss how we got the answer. Yes, so I'll give you all 2 minutes. You can start reading. Yes, hi Sagar and hi Elt. So when we read through the text, let me just read through the text. In the meantime, when I read through the text, usually you can also understand the answer. So it is said an irrational fear or phobia can cause the heart to pound. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, Sagar. Yes, I will explain why we can find the answer. Let us read through the text and we'll discuss the options about how we got the answer. So just listen carefully, and I think by that by the time I finish the paragraph, you'll be getting the answer. So the question was, why is conventional management of phobia problematic? That is, why is the traditional treatment of phobia not easy, or why is it having some issues? So we are dealing with what is phobia. That is, phobia is an irrational fear or phobia can cause the heart to pound and the pulse to raise. It can lead to a full-blown panic attack, and yet the sufferer is not in real peril. So everything is taking place inside, and it is not actually affecting the person outside. So nobody is actually knowing that there is a real peril there. All it takes is a glimpse of, for example, a spider web. That is, a glimpse of something can give a real phobia to some people. For example, a spider's web for the mind, and a body to race into panicked overdrive. So these fears are difficult to conquer. That is, we are talking about phobia here. Phobia fears are difficult to conquer largely because although there are no treatment guidelines specifically about phobias, the traditional way. So this is the synonymous word for conventional. So the traditional way of helping the sufferer is to expose them to the fear numerous times. So this is what the question was asking. Why is it problematic? The answer is given here in this line. That is, you are going to make them overcome this phobia by exposing them to the same phobia or the same fear numerous times. Means continuously you're going to keep on exposing them to that fear. So through the cumulative effects of these experiences, the sufferer should eventually, so this is the author's opinion. The author is saying, when we continuously experience them to this phobia, eventually they should feel an increasing sense in control over their phobia. So what he is saying is, when we keep exposing them to this phobia, slowly they can control their fear. This is what the author is reasoning here. For some people, that is, again, we are actually talking about a few set of people, the process is too protracted. Protracted means it is stretched, it is too overdrawn. But there might be a shortcut. That is, phobias have to be you have to keep exposing them to phobias to make them overcome it. But there is also a shortcut, that is, you can give them drugs that boost the learning, which may help someone with a phobia. So what we are telling is, if there is also a drug sort of a treatment available for these phobia, that is a new treatment. It is not conventional, traditional, it's a new treatment. That is so that they will lose their fearful association that fuel the panic. So how do you actually figure out the options? Now let us read the option. I think I have made the text, the paragraph clear for you all. So now let us read the options. That is, in the first paragraph, the writer says the conventional management is problematic because A, the lasting psychological effects of the treatment. Is that the problem? That is the lasting psychological effects of the treatment. So are we trying to tell that there is going to be a long lasting, there is a lot of the problems are going to be long lasting? Is that the problem here? The time required to identify the cause of the phobia, is that told in this paragraph? That is a time identified to identify the cause of the phobia. Is it the limited choice of the therapies are available for the professionals, or the need for the phobia? The D option is the need for the phobia to be confronted. That means you're going to expose them to the phobia. That is what the word confronted means. So is it going to be confronted repeatedly over time? So there is a small tip. Let me talk about how to solve your C. So when you are taking your C, you have 4 options. Remember, all 4 cannot be the answer. So there will be 2. Please note this. There will be 2 answers which is completely wrong. So what you're going to do first is, you're not going to check for the right answer. You're going to find out the wrong answer. You're going to eliminate it. You're going to practice elimination. Now what do you mean by eliminating is, there will be words or sentences or options which is completely wrong in terms of meaning. So that should be eliminated first. So let us just again go through the options. That is, the lasting psychological effects of the treatment. See, this is somewhat mentioned in the passage, but we are not sure. So you're going to put a question mark next to it. Let's go to the second one. The time required to identify the cause of the phobia. Is that said here? No, there was nothing about time identifying the cause of phobia. That is not at all mentioned here. We are trying to overcome. We are not trying to find the cause of the phobia. So you're going to eliminate A and B. Now we are left with 2 choices, that is C and D. So when you're coming to the C choice, that is the limited choice of therapies. Yes, we only have 2 choices being mentioned in this paragraph. One is the conventional therapy of expose them to the phobia again and again, keep them getting the fear again and again, and one day they will become fine. That is what C is telling. And the fourth one is the need for the phobia to be repeatedly overcome. Yes, that is what actually we are talking about here. The problem of this conventional therapy is the need. You're going to keep exposing to them to that fear. So that is going to cause a lot of, imagine you are afraid of something. And to make you get cured of that condition, We are going to keep exposing you to that fear every day till you become fine. Is that ethical? That will be like a big nightmare for you, right? So that is what is told here. That is the problem. That is, the answer is D. The need for the phobia to be confronted, to be exposed repeatedly over time is your the most problematic part of your conventional management. I hope this is clear. Let's go to the next question. I hope it is clear, your first question. So let's go to our second question. The same thing. So don't read the options, read the question. That is, in the second paragraph, the writer uses the phrase the dark side. So that these kind of highlighted words, they're giving us a lot of focus about certain aspect of that phobia. So give a lot of importance to the sentence before that and the sentence after that. Okay. So the uses the phrase dark side to reinforce the idea. So I think you all can start putting your options, answers. I'll give you 2 minutes. You can figure out your answers and you can start typing your options. So read the question. That is, in the second paragraph, the writer uses the phrase the dark side to reinforce the idea of what? So we are talking about the next paragraph, that is the brains. So we have understood about what is phobia and the treatment you're going to do for the phobia. That is, there is a traditional management as well as a drug. Now we are going to the second paragraph, which is going to be the continuation of your first paragraph. So the brain's extraordinary ability to store new memories and forge association is so well celebrated that its dark side is often disregarded. So we have a good aspect of a brain, that is, brain can restore memory, they can retain memory, but there is also a dark side. There's a negative aspect of the brain's ability to store memories. Let's read about that. A feeling of contentment is easily evoked when we see a photo of a loved one. So a feeling of contentment is easily, so when you see the photo of your loved one, you have a feeling of love towards that person. So that is a memory. So sometimes you go back to an old photo, and when you see that photo, you get reminded of that pleasant time, that good times which happened before, right? So the same way, a feeling of contentment can be evoked, though the memory may be sometimes idealized. When you remember back something which has happened before, a good memory, your brain actually idolizes it. That is, it makes it more beautiful than how it was initially. But however, please give a lot of importance to these kind of connectors, like however, although, but. These are all very important points to look forward when you are attempting your C section. That is, however, a nasty experience. So we talked about a good experience giving you good memories. What about when you get a bad memory? That's why they used a contrasting word called however. However, a nasty experience. Again, they're using the example of spiders that once triggered a panicked reaction leads the feeling of research whenever the relevant cue is seen again. That means whenever you see a spider, any spider anywhere, suddenly you are remembering your phobia of the spiders. That is what is being seen here. So you have a good memory. The brain is able to remember the good memory, as well as the brain is able to recall its bad memory. So that is what these sentences are dealing with. So the current approach, that is what I said about the conventional therapy. The current approach is exposure therapy, which is called as a process called extinction learning. This involves, again we are detailedly explaining about what we were talking about the first paragraph. So exposure therapy means that people are being gradually exposed to whatever triggers their phobia until they feel safe with it. This is the same thing I just explained before in the first paragraph. So you keep exposing them to their fears, you keep exposing them to their phobia, and you're going to you're going to cure them. That is what this conventional therapy is dealing with. So as the individual becomes more comfortable with this situation, the brain automatically creates a new memory that one which links the cue with reduced feelings of anxiety rather than the sensation of marking the onset of the panic attack. So basically what we are doing is here, we are training the brain to mask that phobia and to replace it with the next feeling. That is, when you get continuously exposed to the phobia, you're going to get some other different type of memory. So that is what the traditional phobia is actually dealing with. So this is what the text is saying. Now when you read the question, what are the options? So the question was, in the second paragraph, the writer sees the phrase dark side. He uses the word dark side to reinforce the idea what? Why did he use the word dark side? What is the point he wants us to actually understand from this text? Is it A, memories of agreeable events tend to be inaccurate? Second option, positive memories can be negatively distorted over time. Third option, unhappy memories are often more detailed than happy ones. And fourth option, unpleasant memories are aroused in response to certain prompts. Okay, I'll give you all a time. Put in your options. Let me see who gets the correct answer. Yes, hi Akshu and hi Ranjini. Yes, you can start putting in your options. What do you feel is the correct answer? Why was the word dark side used? Is it something positive they wanted to tell with us with the words dark side, or is something negative? So remember to practice elimination and then you will be able to get your answer. So what was the answer? Yes, excellent Sushmita. Answer is D. Yes, answer is D, correct. So why was the answer D? What are we going to eliminate first? So the A, we are going to eliminate A. Why? Because we are not talking about any pleasant memory. This dark side was used to give us about the negative memories. Yes, correct Sunita, Rashmi, AK, Abby, Bewley, all of you were correct. The answer is D. So we're going to eliminate A and D. We were not talking about any positive memories as such. That is not why the author used the dark side. He wanted to talk about, so you will be stuck with two options, that is C and D. Unhappy memories are often more detailed than happy ones. This is not mentioned as such, so we're going to eliminate that. But the last option, unpleasant memories. So when you keep seeing your triggers, you're going to keep remembering your unpleasant memories. That is what is the option. Yes, good. Let's go to the next one. I hope this was clear. So let's go to our third question. Here the question is, in the second paragraph, extinction learning. Okay, so again we are going to go into more detailed meaning of the same passage. So the question is now dealing with extinction learning. I already said extinction learning is what we call as your exposure therapy. That is, you keep exposing them to that fear, they will get exposed to it and they will overcome their fear. So that learning is called as extinction learning. So in the second paragraph, the extinction learning is explained as a process what is the answer you have to find out. So option A is, it makes use of an innate function of the brain. B, it encourages the patients to analyze their particular fears. C, it shows the patients how to react when they are having a panic attack. D, it focuses on previously little understood part of the brain. So I'll give you all 2 minutes. Read the passage and try to figure out the answer. But please practice elimination. That is going to be your key to success. If you're able to practice elimination, you'll be left with 2 choices and you can easily take your correct option from that. So you don't have to read the whole passage, you just have to read from the 6th line, that is, the current approach is exposure therapy, which uses a process called extinction learning. This involves people being gradually exposed. Gradually means slowly being exposed to whatever triggers their phobia until they feel safe with it. So as the individual becomes more and more comfortable with each situation, the brain automatically Please remember, we are talking about a process, so you can get the cue from here. Automatically it creates a new memory, one that links the cue. Cue means trigger with the reduced feeling of anxiety rather than the sensation that marks the onset of a panic attack. So I think I have told the clue here. Now you just have to tell me about the answer. Yes, I can get some answers here. Everybody's really trying. So let me just eliminate, so I'll make things easier. Makes innate function of the brain seems to be correct, so you're going to give a question mark. B1 encourages patients to analyze their particular fear. That is not given anywhere. And C1 shows the patient how to react when having a panic attack. Is that told? Yes, I can see a lot of correct answers. Good. Yes, the answer is A. That is, you're going to make use of an innate function. So the answer was told about the brain automatically creates a new memory. Of course, that means that we are talking about an innate function of the brain. The brain has an ability to keep creating new memories, and that is what is being used in this extinction learning. Yes, very good. Let's go to the next question. So here we have the question, that is, remember, read the question and read the read the question and then read the passage. So I'll give you all 2 minutes and you can all figure out the answer. So here the question is like, for that same reason. It's a very small text. See, for a very small text, our OET has released a question. So this is going to be quite easy. You just have to read, understand and figure out the answer. Okay. So give a lot of importance to the connectors I've told you. That is, however, although, if there is a but, see for that. Along with that, let us try to understand the opinion of the author. Okay. So unfortunately, while it is relatively easy to create a fear-based memory. So again, we are continuing from the last paragraph. You're coming to the next paragraph, continuation of that. So unfortunately, while it is relatively easy to create a fear-based memory, expunging means it's a grammar-rich word for removing or expelling that fear is more complicated. Each exposure trial. So we're actually coming to a contraindication to what was explained in the before passages. There was, what did we say? What is the most conventional, most common way of treating a phobia? Keep exposing them to that fear. That is what is explained in the last two passages. So this passage is saying, unfortunately, no, that is actually not good. It's kind of like complicated. Why? Because each exposure trial will involve a certain degree of distress. So like I said, to get cured of your fear, keep exposing them to a fear. That is really not a practical suggestion, right? Imagine being exposed to your fear continuously, just to overcome that. It causes a certain degree of distress in that patient. And although the process, so again we are getting a contrast word, although the process is carefully managed to limit this distress, the psychotherapists have concluded that this treatment is unethical. It's not right. Just to cure somebody of their fear, you keep exposing them to their fear. Does that make sense? So it's unethical. It is not right in terms of ethics. And so the neuroscientists have been looking for new ways to speed up this extinction process for that same reason. So for that same reason is indicating to something which was mentioned in the previous line. What was it? It is related to that unethical. So let's read the options. That is, the anxiety that the patient feels during the therapy, Yes, that you can put it as a question mark. We are not sure. So let us read through all the options and then figure out the right answer. Complaints from the patients who feel unsupported. We can confidently eliminate this. What about the third one? The conflicting ethical concerns of neuroscientists. We have some word related to ethical conflict, but let us not eliminate this answer immediately. What about the fourth one? Psychotherapists who take unsuitable patients. Yes, we're going to eliminate D. We're going to eliminate B and D. It's not mentioned in the text. So you are left with two options, A and C. So why is, yes, I got a lot of answers from a lot of students. Yes, answer is A. That is the anxiety. That is what we said by the distress. So what is the synonym was anxiety, distress. The patients feel during that therapy. That is what the problem is. But we are not talking about conflicting ethical means there were two opinions, two neuroscientists were putting out two opinions and they were conflicting. No, that was not there. It was commonly told. Neuroscientists have been looking because they all together they have and actually we are not talking about neuroscientists here. We were talking about psychotherapists. See how they have very cunningly changed the words so that you get confused. We are not talking about neuroscientists who are having a conflicting ethical concern. It was the psychotherapist. So the answer is A. I hope it is clear. So please practice the elimination and slowly you will be able to get your answer correct. Let's go to the fifth one. So here we are going to deal with the fourth paragraph. That is, okay, so just imagine the sequence. We talked about phobia. We said two therapies, two treatment. We talked about conventional, that is keep exposing them. And we talked about that. And then in the last paragraph, we just discussed that treatment is unethical. It is not right to keep exposing them to these distressing events. So now we are going to talk about the drug. That is the second type of treatment we had discussed initially for the phobia. One was conventional therapy and now it is about the drug. So see how the paragraphs are correlated. They are all interrelated. You just, even though we tell you to only read the passage, have an idea what was discussed before. Keep that inside so that it will be easier for you to get your answer. Everything is going to be correlated. Everything is going to be like connected. Okay. So make sure that you don't mix up the paragraphs. You go in a sequence. And this is why one of the most important tips I want to tell you all is, I have seen students who do question number 1 and then they skip to question number 6. And then they come back to question number 2. Now I hope you can understand why that is wrong, because you are losing the flow of the events. So you should try to attempt it in a sequence. You attempt 1, you attempt 2, you attempt 3, you attempt 4. You go like in a sequence so that your brain will be able to catch up the points a bit more faster. So the question here we are dealing is about the drug, DCS drug. So when you read the passage, you can see that we are going to discuss about that drug. So one such avenue is the use of a cognitive enhancer, such as a drug called as D-cycloserine or DCS. Now DCS, they're explaining about DCS. DCS slots into the part of the brain's NMDA receptor and seems to modulate the neurons' ability to adjust their signaling in response to the events. So basically we just think in terms of simple English. What we said about that cognitive, that is told in this complex English words. So don't get too much disheartened when you read through that. You just understand what we read before is being said a bit more in grammatical words. So the next sentence is this turning of a neuron's firing, that is modulate. How is it working? It seems to modulate the neuron's ability to adjust their signaling in response to the events. So this tuning, so we're talking about neuron here. This tuning of a neuron's firing is thought to be one of the key ways of which the brain stores the memories. And at very low doses, DCS appears to boost that process. It improves our ability to learn. So in 2004, a team from Emory tested whether DCS could also help people with phobias. A pilot trial was conducted on 28 people. undergoing a specific exposure therapy for acrophobia. So you know what is acrophobia? It is the fear of the heights, right? Results showed that those who were given a small amount of DCS alongside their regular therapy were able to reduce their phobia to a greater extent than those who were given a placebo. Placebo means a drug which is supposed to give us that effect, but it has no use inside. So since then, other groups have replicated the same thing in the further tests. So this is what this paragraph was dealing with. Now let us read the options. So in the fourth paragraph, you are reading about the first option. That is, we learned that the drug called DCS is unsafe to use except in small quantities. Is that mentioned? I'll leave it up to you. Helps to control only certain types of phobias. Are we only dealing with certain types of phobias here? Is that mentioned in the text? What about the third option? Affects how neurons in the brain react to stimuli. And D option, increases the emotional impact of certain event. So of course we are going to eliminate A and B. You are left with C and D. But if you read C carefully, it is the answer. That is, we talked about how the neurons are going to be affected. So it affects how the neurons in the brain react to stimuli. That is what the DCS drug is making full use of. So the answer is C. I can see a lot of people have written the correct answer. Very good. Yes, it's good. So I hope you understood how you got the answer. So when you practice elimination, when you're left with the two choices, automatically you will be able to choose your correct answer. Let's go to the next question. So here I don't want to discuss anything. I want you all to just take that 2 minutes. I'll give you all 2 minutes. I'll keep time. Since I've just discussed how you're going. Now you have to tell me the answer. I will not discuss, I will not read. I'll give you proper 2 minutes. You can just read and tell me your answer. Okay? Yes, start. So there is there is an important thing to note. OET has been released over a long period of time. We have kept on updating our materials. You have OET 1.0, you have OET 2.0. So OET likes to keep making things a bit tough. So they have currently released around 4 patterns. You have an A pattern, B pattern, C pattern and D pattern. So whatever I have done till now, that is question number 1 to 5, was considered to be a very simple pattern, that is C pattern. Not very simple, you have to read and understand. C pattern. So this question is a bit of critical thinking. You have to think a bit more deeply. So it is an example for a D pattern. Okay, so I'll give you time. Let's see who all gets the answer. If you're not getting the answer, we'll discuss. This is a D pattern. D pattern, not answer is not D. I'm saying about the pattern's name. It's called a deep thinking pattern. C pattern is known as a synopsis type of a pattern. Okay, so when we come to critical thinking, that is in thinking in terms of deep, you have to really analyze the passage, really understand the words. That pattern, that question itself is called as a deep thinking pattern. So what you're doing now, the 6th one, is actually a D pattern. It's a deep thinking pattern. So let's see who's getting the answer. So the passage goes like this. For people undergoing exposure therapy, so for people undergoing the exposure therapy, so we're talking about again the same thing. Achieving one of the steps on the long journey to overcoming their fears requires considerable perseverance. That means a lot of, you have to keep sticking to that pattern. You have to keep following that treatment. Only that will give you results. Says who? Christian Sirbu, who is a behavioral scientist and a psychologist. Thanks to the improvement being so slow, patients, often already anxious, tend to feel that they have failed. So this is a very sarcastic way of saying things. Though they used a good word, thanks. It is not meaning thanks, good, it is good for the patient. We are actually being sarcastic here. We are saying that because this is so slow, you have to persevere so much, you have to continue this treatment so much. The patients already, they're very anxious, right? And now they feel that they have failed. This treatment has failed. It is not at all effective for the patient. That is what these words indicate. So, but, again we are getting a contrast word, but. Sirbu thinks that DCS can make it possible to tackle this problem. So actually you're talking about initially all the sentences, the first few sentences we're talking about the conventional therapy, that is that initial treatment therapy we said now, keep exposing them to the fear. But now we can see something positive being told by this Christian Sirbu. He's saying that DCS is a good option. Why? Because it makes it possible to tackle the problem in a single 3-hour session, which is enough for the patients to make a real headway and leave a feeling of satisfaction. So DCS is quite fast compared to the other therapy is one of the points being mentioned now. However, so this was a point which was told, but that is not the end of the story. There is a continuation. That is why they use the word however. So don't think that is the answer. Go to the next, continue the paragraph. However, some people have misgivings. That is, they are not very happy about this DCS approach. They claim that it doesn't directly undo the fearful response. It is not actually solving the problem as such. It's just masking it. Undo the fearful response which is deep-seated in the memory. So there is a very real risk of relapse. What does relapse means? It keeps coming back. For the time being, you might have gotten cured of your phobia. That is what DCS did. But very soon, the patient will start feeling the phobia again. So that means DCS has not completely cured the patient of their phobia. Now let us read the options. So the benefits are likely to be of limited duration. Option number 1. Option number 2, it is only helpful for certain types of personality. Option number 3, few patients are likely to complete the course of treatment. Option number D, patients feel discouraged by the lack of that progress, right? So what is the lack of the progress? Okay, it is progress, progress. So what was the answer? What are you going to eliminate? Let us eliminate the most obviously wrong ones. It is only helpful for certain types of personality. Is that correct? No, that is not mentioned. What about this? A is, you can keep A as a question mark. It can be the answer. Let us read all the options. What about the C option? Few patients are likely to complete the course of treatment. This is not actually mentioned in the paragraph. So you can just cut that out of the option. So you're left with 2 options, A and D. Yes, you can start putting your answers. What is the answer? Is it that the benefits are of limited duration? DCS. We're talking about DCS. Or is it that the patients are going to feel discouraged by the lack of progress? What do you feel is the answer? Yes, keep putting your options. Answer. I'll say you the... Yes, I can see a lot of correct answers coming up. Yes, the answer is very clearly once I eliminated A. Once I eliminated the wrong answers B and C, you are left with A and D, and it's very clear A is the answer. That is, we are talking about what? There is a real risk of relapse. In other words, it is of limited duration. So I hope you can understand how D pattern works. They don't say it directly, they twist it and they say it. So the answer is A, that is, benefits are likely of limited duration. In other words, there is a chance of relapse. So I hope this was clear. Let's go to the next question. Again here, this is also not very direct. You have to think the same way what we did for our 6th question. That same sort of thinking you're going to apply for this. Okay. So this is also a D pattern, that is deep thinking pattern for solving. So here you're going to read the question, that is in the final paragraph. So we are directly coming to the final paragraph. We learned that kin studies into anxiety disorders focused on how? What was it focusing on? So read the passage, read the paragraph, corresponding paragraph. So I think you were able to get a sequence of events. We talked about phobia, we talked about the conventional therapies, and we thought that there was also a drug therapy. Then we talked about how the conventional therapies are having a lot of problems because of getting exposed to it again and again. So the author is not agreeing with that. Then we talked about DCS. In that also we found a disadvantage in DCS, that is DCS DCS results are quite limited. There's a chance of relapse. Now let us come to the final paragraph. We'll see what the author is going to conclude here. Okay. So the author starts the passage like this. Rather than simply attempting to overlay the fearful associations with new ones. So he's completely contradicting the full thing. That is, instead of just completely erasing the fearful one with a new one, Merrill Kind at that university is trying to alter the association. He's trying to completely change the composition itself. That is what the author is saying. So Kind's studies into anxiety disorders are based on the idea that memories are not only vulnerable to alteration when they were first laid down, but, please give a lot of importance to these but, however, although and all that, but of key importance also at later retrieval. That means memories can be altered, but they also can be retrieved. This is what the sentence means. This allows for memories to be updated, and these amended means changed memories, are reconsolidated. They can be reconsolidated by the effects of the proteins. So we are talking about chemical. We have reached the chemical aspect of memories here. These effects of proteins which alter the synaptic responses. So he's saying we can even reach up to the chemical aspect of that memories and change them, thereby maintaining the strength of feeling associated with the original memory. So this is what his research or his studies are dealing with, that is altering the memory at the protein level. Okay, thereby maintaining the strength of feeling associated with the original memory. Then we can see some more explanation. Kind's team has produced, okay, now we are seeing some sort of like results. Kind's team has produced encouraging results with arachnophobic patients by giving them propranolol. We are coming to another drug, propranolol, which is a well-known, well-tolerated beta blocker drug that is treated for whom? What does this arachnophobic patients means? Those people who have fear of spiders, they are called as arachnophobic. What was the other fear mentioned? The one which was having the fear of the height, acrophobia. So here we are talking about the spiders related sort of fear, that is acrophobic. So this blocked the effects of the norepinephrine in the brain, disrupting the way the memory was put back into the storage after being retrieved. So you're going to take up the memory which is causing them phobia, you're going to alter it. And then you're going to do a process known as reconsolidation. You're going to change the full memory itself. You're going to alter the memory at its protein stage. That is what these words are saying. So this is what Kind's study is talking about. And participants reported that while they still did not like the spider, so this is the end result of that study. That is, they're saying that even though the participants reported that they still don't like the spiders, they were able to approach them. They didn't have that extreme fear. They didn't have that extreme fear of the spiders. They were able to approach them. So he reported that this benefit was still there even after the test had ended. That is, we are getting a better option here. The other test result was not long lasting. Here the result is tending to be long lasting. So this is what the author was talking in this passage. Now let us read the options. I hope this passage is clear to everyone. Now let us read the options. So we are talking about Kind's studies here, that is altering the memory at the protein level itself. And we are going to see about how the Kind's studies into anxieties disorders focused on how. 4 options. First one, proteins can affect memory retrieval. Is this Kind's study? Yeah, we cannot eliminate it. We cannot choose it as the answer. So we just put a question mark. What about the second option? Memories are supposed to not sorry, the memories are superimposed on each other. Is there any superimposing of memories happening there? No, it is wrong. So that option is going to be eliminated. And C, negative memories can be reduced in frequency. Are we talking about negative memories going to be reduced in frequency? No, that is also not being mentioned. So what is the last option? The emotional force of the memory is naturally retained. That is that what the study is dealing with? So you're going to eliminate B and C. I'll give you all 30 seconds. Tell me what is your answer. Are we talking about focused on proteins can affect? Read the words clearly. Is it can it affect the memory retrieval? Or 2, the emotional force of the memory is being naturally retained. What is the most grammatical answer you can take here? Is it A or D? So remember, I said this is not a very easy question. You have to think in terms of deep thinking pattern. So what are you going to do? You're going to take the direct answer. You're going to think a bit more deeply and try to figure out the answer. So proteins can affect the memory retrieval. Is that your answer? Or is it that the emotion, what is the thing? What is the study being focused on? We had a lot of words telling the answer there. So let's read that passage again. See, the effect is but. You can start reading from that line. But of key importance. Also at a later retrieval, this allows the memory to be updated, and these amended memories are reconsolidated by the effect on the proteins. Thereby, I said always give importance to those connectors. Thereby, that is, the result is maintaining the strength of feeling associated with the original memory. So how do you translate that word into an option? Is it A or D? Are you talking about the emotional force of a memory being naturally retained, or you're talking about the before one? Proteins can affect memory retrieval. Yes, that is the concept that we are using here. Proteins are being affected here, but what is the end result? That is, we are working on the fact that thereby maintaining the strength of the feeling associated with the original memory. In other words, your option is D. Yes, we got a lot of correct answers also. Good, Bueli, AK and Suja. Good. So I think you have understood what do you mean by D pattern, what is the deep thinking pattern, what is the way you have to apply your sort of thinking. So remember, this is one of the most common types of question you're going to get for your OET exam. So you have to learn to differentiate between C pattern, that is a synopsis type of pattern, and also your D pattern. Okay, let's go to the last question for today. So it is the same passage, and we're getting a very tricky word for that. Yeah, we're getting the tricky word, that is, why is the writer suggesting propranolol? Why is it being used? May what? So is it A, not offer a permanent solution for the patient's phobia? B, increase a patient's intolerance of key triggers? C, produce some beneficial side effects? And D, it may be inappropriate for certain phobias. I think we can confidently eliminate which all? You can eliminate your you're going to eliminate your D and C, right? Now you're left with two options. May not offer a permanent solution. No, I mean you can eliminate your A and D. We are talking about some good results of this propranolol. But is it a side effect? The C one, is it a side effect? You have to think about that. So what is your answer between A, B and C? We're going to eliminate A and D. It may be inappropriate for certain phobias, is not mentioned. You're going to eliminate D. What about the first one? Not offer a permanent solution for the patients. No, we're going to eliminate A, because not offer a permanent solution. We are not talking about certain phobias in detail. You are going to talking about all the phobias. Whatever we are going to do a treatment is going to be treated for all the phobias. So you're going to eliminate A and you're going to eliminate D. You're left with B and C. What will be your answer between B and C? B is increase the patient's tolerance of the key triggers, or C, produce some beneficial side effects. So please go and read that propranolol words. Kin's team had produced an encouraging results by giving them propranolol. This blocked the effects of norepinephrine, disrupting the way the memory was put back into the storage as a part of the process of reconsolidation. What was the ending two lines? Participants reported. This is the end result. That was the method. What is the end result? What is the participant, what do they claim? They claim that even though they still did not like the spiders, they were able to approach them. So this was the benefit mentioned. Now how do you put that into a passage? How do you put that into the option? Is it B or C? That is, increase the patient's tolerance of the key triggers, or you're talking about beneficial side effects. So like I said, is there any side effects mentioned here? Yes, the answer is B. We were talking about, see, they didn't like the spiders, but they didn't have extreme phobia about it. So they were able to approach it, but they didn't like it. They didn't have that previously very strong response of having extreme fear. That was not there. What they did is they were able to tolerate. You're increasing the patient's tolerance of key triggers means you're able to tolerate the key triggers. That is, what the example was used here was for spider. So they were able to tolerate the spider. That is what is the answer. So yes, answer is B. A lot of people have, yeah, I can see a lot of people have answered. Very good. So I hope this is clear. So this is not very tough question. I would not say this is a D pattern. This is definitely a C pattern where you have to like figure out the answer, right? So the answer is A. The answer is B. That is, increasing the patient's tolerance of the key triggers. Okay, so Sakura has an answer about, Sakura has a question. Why is C not the answer? See, the question is saying the writer suggests that propranolol may, answer C, when you see the C in depth, produce some beneficial side effects. Where are we talking about side effects here? There is no side effects. This is a treatment plan itself. So the treatment plan is very clearly said that Kin's team, please read that sentence again. Kin's team has produced some encouraging results with those who have fear with patients by giving them propranolol. It is a drug. Okay, the end result of this drug is that it is a result. It is a part of the drug. It is not a side effect. We are not talking about side effects here. What do you mean by side effects? Something which we didn't expect. It is an unexpected problematic aspect of the drug. That is what is known as side effects. This is not a side effect. It is a cause effect. It is, we are giving this medicine to get this effect. So it's not a side effect. This is why that side made the answer wrong. It's not a side effect. It is an effect. That is, the beneficial effect of this drug was that it could block the effects of norepinephrine in the brain, disrupting the way the memory was put back into the storage, and as a part of reconsolidation. So it is an effect. It's not a side effect. That is what why the option C is wrong. So I hope it is clear, Sakura. Is it clear why answer C is not correct? We are not talking about beneficial side effects. We are talking about a beneficial effect of the drug. Okay, thank you, Sakura. You have any other doubts? We are going to end the session soon. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. This is your session. If you have any other doubts regarding your OET reading also, you can ask me now. No problem. I can help you. So remember, OET reading is going to be your second exam on the day of your exam. You have finished a very tough listening and then you have given a 60 minutes reading exam. So if you are not mentally concentrating on the exam and you're not mentally free and you're thinking about your listening exam and you're going to do your reading exam, you're not going to get marks. Reading is a skill. It is something which when you read, you get the answer. You cannot force yourself to find the answer. It is about perception. It's about how much you're able to understand, absorb, and give the answer. So that is your reading skill. So you should be very cool, headed, and you should learn time management. This is one of the most important aspects in OET reading. When you are doing self-training, please do not take a lot of time. A part you have to learn to do within 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. B you have to learn to do within 10 minutes. C1 not more than 15 minutes. That is an average of 2 minutes and 15 seconds per question. That is the only time you should take. So C1, every question take only 2 minutes and do your practice. Don't take more than that. Don't overthink. When you overthink, you will not get the answer. It's only about initially what you think and you get a perception, that will be the answer. So this is how you have to solve your C part. I hope the tips were useful. And do join us for more. We'll be continuing the sessions for you for online. And remember, today I was dealing with 2 patterns. That is, we talked about C pattern and D pattern. So we'll be dealing with more of these patterns in the future classes. Do stay in touch with us and join our future sessions also. So I hope, yes, I hope everybody had an interesting session and you were able to understand how to solve your C, and if you see C is not very tough. It is a misconception that C is very tough, we will not get the answer. There's something like that. If you're able to just read, understand the passage, understand the question, try to think in terms of what is the author's opinion, view, it's going to be very easy. Practice elimination, practice time management, and you will get your answers. So that's it. I'll be winding up. Any other questions or doubts, you can ask me now and I will clarify that. Is there anybody who has any other doubts? You can just ask me. Before I wind up the session, I'll just clarify those doubts also. Yeah, definitely Niranjan. I will be taking a live session soon for C2 also. Definitely do tune in for that. And yes, actually it's a very interesting thing that you told about C1 and C2. C1 and C2 is always different. You cannot have the same approach for C1 as well as C2. You have to be, so this is a small tip we say from our trainers. That is, what we have developed a technique to get your maximum marks is, don't do C1 and C2 together. You are not going to get marks. Give a break. You do a C1, you do a B, and then you come back to a C2, and this is going to give you a lot of marks. So this is what we have noticed in our students. That is, when you do 2 C1 and C2 together, you get so mentally frustrated, so much thick, topics, very complicated topics are coming, so you're really mentally tired. So give yourself a break. You do a C1 and then you do a break. Do a B and then you come back to C2. So I will be taking a live session in C2 in the future. So do stay tuned for that. Yes, thank you so much for attending our session. I'll see you all in the next session. Take care. Thank you.